to act. Your mind, it is like a gun. And you want to load it up with little itty bitty bullets of knowledge.
Hey yo, what's going on? It's your guy Boro, the Lucky Libra. Thank you for tuning in to another episode, alright? And as you can see by the title, we're going to be talking about past life energies detected through the natal chart, alright? So let's get right into it. Now, before we even talk about energies in the natal chart, okay, hold on, that's my jam right there, that's my joint. Before we even talk about energies in the natal chart, there's going to be things about your spiritual nature that we're going to subconsciously be able to pick up on that are energies we brought here. All right. So it's 2021. We all know by now that we are spirits and bodies experiencing, okay? And if you didn't know, now you know. Alright? So for the most part, the only thing that we bring with us and the only thing that we take with us is our vibration, our frequency vibration. This is why that's that important. So we could get caught up in this. We could get caught up in this as much as we want. We could get caught up in all that as much as we want. All right. We just gonna have to keep coming back here and learning. We're gonna have to keep reincarnating and learning certain things. All right. But for the most part, let's not go left, right, left, right. For when we talk about certain energies that you experience that already could subconsciously help you pick up on what you brought here, is certain habits, certain behaviors that you have. All right. There's certain habits and behaviors that we all brought here that were things that we comfortably aligned with. It doesn't even matter right now how it was introduced to us, but when it was introduced to us, we naturally just flowed with it. I had to throw my little DC accent in there, introduce. All right. So for the most part, or Baltimore, I don't know, y'all tell me which one that one. DC, Baltimore, I know is all DMV area. So anyways, shout out to the DMV area. So think about all the habits and behaviors that have been naturally introduced into you. You comfortably just aligned with doing these things. Positive or negative habits right now. We're just talking about any type of habits, behaviors, anything you could think of that you naturally just, aligned with here. Okay? So that alone gives you a great indication of where your frequency vibration may have been in your previous life. Okay? Now, the natal chart gonna help us detect a lot of things. And we've spiritually designed our natal chart to help guide us here. Period. Okay, but there's a positive and negative to everything. That same essence of us being able to spiritually guide ourselves here through our astrological energies are the same things that we could get lost in while using these energies to experience while we're here. All right, stay with me, y'all. So for the most part, certain behaviors and habits and patterns that you naturally have, certain things that you realize that it once you've got aligned with it takes some work to detach from it. It takes some work to neglect it, leave it alone, to separate from it for the most part. So that's one spiritual indication right there. And this goes into when we talk about relationships, soul ties, karmic relationships. When people talk about I was connected, I feel like I've known you before. We was connected in a past life or whatnot. When we've had these type of experiences, so us having them type of experiences, period, That's why I said it's 2021. We should all know by now, especially if you here watching this video. All right, Spirit got you here for a reason, but I'm sure you understand that by now. Okay, we jumping in and out of bodies, different experiences. We've done this a number of times, so it's our duty not to get caught up in all of this. Okay, but for the most part, and that's not an easy thing to do at all, especially when we go through so many ups and downs within this experience, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and from certain achievements, accomplishments, we can get on our high horse, we can be proud. So these are the moments where we have to be able to spiritually check ourselves. Okay, but we just want to be very conscious of certain behaviors, habits, and things that we don't practice no moderation. We don't be, placing restrictions on or telling ourselves like, all right, that's enough of that. Like put some boundaries on that. Whatever this indulgence, this habit, behavior may be. Okay, so that's just one thing to look at. But when we look in the natal chart, your natal chart in totality is showing you your past life. Okay, your natal chart in totality is showing you your past life, but I broke it down into increments. So basically got it at 4 different things. Okay, but in a way, these 4 different things, after hearing them separately, you'll be able to generalize these things together and be able to see how actually the whole chart is designed to, is basically showing you the frequency vibration that you've been in your past life. Now, just want to make sure I don't miss anything before we get into that. All right, so boom. First, we're going to start with the South Node. Alright, we got to start with the South Node. When we look at the North and the South Node, they're not planets, stars, asteroids. They're not none of that. Alright, it's more so of a detection, more of a point. It's more of a direction. Alright, when we talk about the nodes, we can correlate the nodes to the North Pole, North and South Pole axis of the moon. Alright, and if you've been watching me, I say the moon is the most important tool that we're using here, because it governs how we deal with emotional stability. It governs the subconscious energies. Okay, it shows us the world that we live in. And when we look at the where our nodes was at when we incarnated here, this is showing you spiritually. This is showing you spiritually the directions you are coming from and where you're going. Okay, so this is why your North and South nodes are very important to understand in the chart. However, looking at these points in your chart, understand that the South Node, alright, the South Node, South Pole, South axis of the chart, okay, and on top of saying that the moon is important, or is the most important tool that we're using, understand that the moon is tying to, past life vibrations, your Akashic records, memory, time. All of these things is what's being filtered through your moon sign, your moon placement for the most part. So when you look at the nodes, the South Node is the energy that you brought here, is the energy you're comfortable with. The moon is going to deal with what's comfortable. Whenever we're dealing with moon energies, is what's making you comfortable, not comfortable. It's making you feel fulfilled, what's making you feel unfulfilled. Alright, when we're talking about the nodes, the North Node the South Node is going to show you the energy you brought here, the energy you're comfortable in, the energy you want to connect to. may indulge in. The North Node energy gonna make you feel nervous. It's gonna make you feel uncomfortable. This is an area of life that is unfamiliar, may have not been experiencing or correlating with the energy, connecting to that type of energy or frequency vibration in a number of lifetimes, your previous lifetime. So that's the North Node frequency vibration. A lot of the North Node moments in our life are gonna feel nervous or unfamiliar, or it's times where we had to learn to do things for the first time. We had to learn to freestyle. We had to really do things off our own merit, off our own, ability to perceive something at the moment with no reference or no example. These be like North Node moments, okay? So when we look at the South Node, that's who knows, who knows how long we've been all up indulging, comfortable in that energy. Who knows? All right. So the South Node energy is gonna pinpoint you right to what you've been heavily connecting to in your past life energies. It's gonna pinpoint you right to it. When you start looking at your South Node energy, compare them to your sun, compare them to your moon, compare them to your rising, and really look at it and understand how much you deal with that frequency vibration. We want to use our South Node to help us get aligned with our North Node, to help us deal with these nervous, unfamiliar moments, experiences with our North Node. So when we're looking at the South Node, this is not so much an energy where we just gotta ultimately evolve from it or whatnot, or just detach from. We gotta learn to bridge that gap. We gotta understand that this is what we brought here. So it's not just like we have to throw it in the trash. How do we use this to help us evolve? The OG, Dolo the Pilot Man, shout out to Soul Group, when he breaks down a lot of these energies dealing with the North and South Node, he likes to say that you want to make sure that you're utilizing your South Node to be able to help you not be too ahead of your North Node, but not stay too comfortable and stagnated in your South Node. So we got to find that balance. We have to find that give and receive there. But overall, the South Node will be one of the placements that show you an energy that you've been heavily indulging to, connecting to, comfortable in. All right, so let's say you got the North Node in the 6th house in Sagittarius. Or South Node, excuse me if I said North Node. If you got the South Node in the 6th house in Sagittarius, you saw me just dodging bullets right now. Sun and Moon and Fire houses, you know how we move it. So, with the South Node in Sagittarius in the 6th house, you brought some organization here. You brought some attention for detail. You brought making sure things around you is in order, is in place with that 6th house energy. And then with Sagittarius, with the North Node in Sagittarius, some type of shape or form, you brought some wisdom here. All right, you're able to look at things from a philosophical point of view. Okay, probably connected to more things that dealt with looking at things from a philosophical view, not getting tied up in so much logic or intellect, going based off, reacting based off the feeling of things, how you see things, what inspires you, how you feel like you can enlighten others, inspire others. This is something you brought here, North Node, South Node, and Sagittarius. So understanding that, now when you're looking at the North Node energies, you're gonna have the North Node in Gemini in Gemini in the 12th house. All right, so you gotta understand part of your spiritual path with the North Node in Gemini is learning to deal with gaining more information. Okay, understanding how to communicate, relate, be more adaptable, dealing with communicating to others on a more technical perspective, more intellectual perspective, not drifting off to more philosophical point of view, knowing when to have that shift. knowing when to have that balance. So you ain't too lost being too wise, and you ain't too lost being too intellectual. But and then it's in the 12th house. This is just an example, but you know the North Node's in the 12th house. So with the South Node being, you just use the opposite. With the South Node being in the 6th house, since you brought that sense of organization, putting things in order, making sure you're structuring things in your vicinity or whatnot, making sure you're more calculated about your endeavors, your pursuits. With the North Node in the 12th house, you're here to go with the flow in this lifetime. You're here to let your aspirations and creative attributes and the things that you truly believe in on the subconscious level, you're here to let them things drive the ship, steer the boat. You're here to depend more on them things. And that, once again, finding that balance ain't the easiest thing to do when what makes you the most comfortable with a South Node in the 6th house is dealing more so with that structure, putting things in place, being more strategic, having a sense of security with what you're dealing with. All right, so that's just an example, you know, for us to look at that South Node and start understanding, okay, I could definitely see how I've been dealing with this energy, or I run to this energy. A lot of us run to our South Node energy when we're dealing with that uncomfortable state of the North Node moment. So for me, I use myself for example. I got the South Node in my 4th house. All right, I got the South Node in my 4th house in Gemini. Okay, I got the North Node in my 10th house in Sagittarius. So for the most part, I brought this here, as y'all can see. I know I brought this here. You ain't gotta tell me twice. I brought this here, using this all the time, overdoing this all the time. All right, I brought relatability. I always used to look at my placements. And be like, yo, damn, I know I'm a Libra. Okay. And, you know, my sun square the moon. This is not all about me or whatnot. But when I start looking more at that South Node in Gemini, start understanding where there's an extra impact of that relatability, being a little bit more immutable, adaptable, changeable, having more of a wishy-washiness to me because I'm upholding too many responsibilities in relationships. So, you know, I definitely see how that kicks in. So not to dive too deep into that, but just to paint a picture of how that South Node is a huge indicator of what we're looking at when we're looking at past life energies in the natal chart. Now, moving on. Your moon sign, all right? Say that with some emphasis. Your moon sign. Not so much the moon. I'm not saying this is not important. Everything about your moon house place, your moon placement is important. Sign, house aspects. However, when we look at the sign your moon is in, the houses are areas of life, which is a frequency vibration. The signs are the constellations, okay? The stars that were birthed out of these areas of life, out of these houses. So when we look at the sign your moon is in, first of all, the sun, moon, Mercury, these are all tools. We know we're spirits using the body, just like how planets correlate to, you know, you got Aries, the head. Okay, just like how you have Capricorn, the thighs, all right? Well, the knees, Sagittarius, the thighs, all right? Just like how we have the constellations and the houses that correlate to parts of our body, correlate that to your spirit utilizing these energies. Your spirit utilizing the Gemini sun sign, your spirit utilizing a physical throat chakra, all right, to communicate. So spirit using all of these things. All of these things representing spirit. We're looking at the frequency vibration representation of what our spirit is using, the constellations and whatnot, physical representation. So the sign, when we're picking our tools, the moon sign, the moon tool, when we're picking this the first thing we pick, and this is the closest thing to our soft spot. This is the tool that we're using when we're dealing with connecting the emotions. We're dealing with feeling, sinking in, understanding our subconscious energies. We're dealing with emotional transformation. We're dealing with our thoughts as well, our internal energies, okay? And that past life vibration. Once again, the moon is the chakra, the tool that we use to filter some of that energy into this, new life. Now, your moon, the sign, the constellation that your spirit picked to utilize as a moon sign in this lifetime shows you that this is a frequency vibration that your spirit truly resonated with. All right, this is how I like to look at the past life energies when we're talking about other points to detect in the chart. I like to look at that moon sign, the actual constellation that it's placed in, whether it's a fire sign, a mutable fire sign, Sagittarius, whether it's a fixed earth sign, Taurus, whether it's a, air sign. If your moon is in air, in some type of shape or form, spiritually you resonated more with the intellect, more with masculine, logical energies, communication-like energies, relatability-like energies, social-like energies. Logic and thought gonna manifest into communication and relatability. The moon is in fire. The moon gonna show me that this spirit resonated more with its visions, its creativity, its inspiration, how it's able to, its awareness, its ability to be aware or to enlighten others, shed awareness, or expression. We can expression / creativity. This is what the spirit truly resonated with the moon and fire. All right, the moon and earth. This is gonna show that the spirit truly resonated with a sense of being grounded, a sense of foundation, a sense of being rooted, having structure. Maybe a spirit that was resonating with the frequency of building in some type of shape or form. In the new life, you got a moon earth sign, all right, and a moon and water sign. Maybe a spirit that's spiritual, a spirit that didn't want to get in the body. All right, and this is not to say all signs could be spiritual. We just do it in different ways. But water is dealing with the subconscious. Water is dealing with the feelings and emotions. Water is dealing with vibrations. So a spirit that resonated with the water energy is more so resonating with being more tapped into subconscious energies, being more tapped into, things disregarding this, but regarding inside, all right, the vibe, the feel of things. This is what spirit naturally resonated with, picking the moon sign to resonate with itself. Moon on the cusp, you got to apply that too. So the sign that the moon is in, that's going to show you that's going to show you some things about your past lives. All right, that moon frequency vibration is strong, strong. Now, the house your sun is in. The house your sun is in. So, when we talk about the house that your sun is in, we know houses are areas of life, spaces that pinpoint certain areas of life. Earth house is more so reality areas of life, career, how we structure our reality areas of life. Fire house is more expression areas of life. Water house is more, internal emotion based areas of life. Air, more social, relatable, relationship areas of life. So when we look at the house that your sun is in, the sun represents awareness, what you're consciously aware of, what you're paying attention to, what you're seeing, what you're being influenced to take action on. So whatever house our sun is in this lifetime, we're gaining an awareness of what's going on in that house. Now, with the house that your sun is in, when we incarnate here, we're using our sun to see. We're using our sun to gain a new awareness and paying attention to something. So when we're talking about the sun in the house, that area of life, that is the area of life that spiritually needs to be paid attention to in this lifetime. Spiritually needs to gain a new evolved awareness of in this lifetime. When we look at the house that the sun is in. All right. So now when we look at the house, this could show you energies of your past life by what you wasn't paying attention to in your previous lifetime. Okay? When we look at the sun in the houses. So if you got the sun in your first house, this is showing you that in this lifetime you need to pay more attention to how you personally express yourself, how you utilize your personal creative expression. All right? How you deal with attention and light gained from how you express yourself, positive or negative. All right? Positive or negative attention or light. This is what you need to pay attention to and gain more of an evolved awareness of in this lifetime. You got the sun in the fourth house. You need to pay more attention to your subconscious, how you deal with your emotional well-being, how consciously aware of you are you up spiritually of dealing with your more private energies, your more internal energies when you're in a body and you're experiencing. You need to pay more attention to the family and home environment and caring, period. Dealing with caring, period. This is what you need to pay more attention to and take more action on with the sun in the fourth house. So we could look at this with all of our sun placements. All right. So the house that the sun is in, bada boom, bada bing. That's going to be another one, all right, that we want to pay attention to help us understand energies of our past life. And now this one goes, this one we could look at two different perspectives here. So when we look at stelliums, stelliums are 3 or more planets in a house or sign. Okay. Stelliums, with the sun being in the house, the sun is showing you an area of life that we need to pay attention to, gain more of an awareness in, right? When we dealing with stelliums, these are a lot of planets, a lot of stars, a lot of energies in one area of life, in one space. Okay? So when one gotta use the bathroom, the other one gotta go. All right, when the other one going to the club, the other one going. Like, they are packed. They're a team. They're all affecting each other. So, when we look at stelliums, just having 3 or more energies in an area of life, understand that that's a lot of energies that you're reacting to and pushing out in a lot of areas of life. You know, manifesting into a lot of situations and experiences in that area of life. So this is how we're spiritually gaining an awareness here. So we got two ways we could look at the stelliums. One, we could look at the stelliums as this energy, this area of life is showing us that this is a placement, or this is an area of life that we have to learn to detach from, because we were so invested in it from the previous lifetime. We were so connected to it. So we need to learn to find the balance in that energy, get aligned and comfortable with that energy again, and evolve from it. Both of these aspects gonna deal with evolving. you can't duck the spiritual work. But for the most part, this is an energy you may have been heavily paying attention to, taking a lot of action and overindulging and creating imbalances in your life because you was connecting to this energy. And all right, maybe you something trying to manifest something in this area of life, trying to connect and establish something in that area of life. So in some type of shape or form, you was putting a lot of energy into that energy in that area of life, and in this lifetime, you're here, to grasp that energy, get in control of, the awareness that you already have of that area of life and evolve from that. All right. Use some of that energy for your purpose here, what you're here to do in this lifetime. Or we can look at number two, and these are more so things that I would feel like you guys would be able to subconsciously pick up on. A lot of these things are dealing with us being in our true spiritual nature. So when we look at the second way of looking at the stellium, this could be an area of life that is heavily unfulfilled. All right, so just like how we say the north node energy is a nervous, unfamiliar like energy. When we look at stelliums, we can look at this as a sign, an energy, aka a sign, a frequency vibration, or a house, an area of life that we need to gain an awareness of because we've been really neglecting it. Probably been taking advantage in that area of life. Probably been lackadaisical and been lacking, awareness and not really being conscious of what's going on in that area. Like, so we got a lot of energies there, a lot of tools, some asteroids up in there, a couple of aspects hitting that John for us to react, push out energies, gain more of awareness, deal with more experiences, situations, and relationships in that area of life to help us truly understand, how to deal with this, with that, with the situations that could arise and manifest out of that frequency vibration, out of that energy. So these are like the two spectrums we want to look at stelliums at for the most part. Either way, we want to be able to find the balance in being active in these areas of life, dissecting each planet, understanding how the planet plays out in this area of life and how they're affecting each other, how they're working as a team with these conjunctions and these stelliums. And also understanding, well, they may not all be conjunct, but if you got 3 or more planets in the house, it's still a stellium. We want to understand how to evolve, how to utilize all these energies to work for each other, to find balance in these areas of life, to always grow, to not repeat the same mistakes when we already have certain wisdom about how to do things in this area of life, because it's such an active area of life. Okay, so a lot of us got a bunch of stelliums, and we came out the womb dealing with certain issues. It's like, damn, I got a stellium in my 4th house and my fucking 6th house, and I came into the world, my family got bills in my name. Damn, I gotta resolve shit in my 4th house, in my family home environment, and get with my motherfucking sense of organization and structure. Ain't that about a bit? So these are things to help us understand what the fuck we brought here. You in a karmic ass soul tie like relationship, shit, you brought that shit here for the most part. But it gets it gets more detailed when we talk about soul tie karmic twin flame relationships. But for the most part, if I had $1 for every time I said but for the most part, and I wonder which one hit which one I'll be saying more. Oh man, we're gonna see. I guess because I just said it again. So anyways, this is what we dealing with when we looking at past life energies in the natal chart. Look at your experiences. Look at repetitive lessons. Look at the things you've experienced in your life, and when you experience it, you was like, damn, yo, I'm tired of this shit. You may have been the first type of relationship you was experiencing like that. May have been the first type of job you experienced like that. Maybe the only sibling that you fight with like that, but you be knowing when you spiritually tired of some shit. When you spiritually tired of some shit, is a difference. It's a whole difference when you spiritually tired. When you feel that shit like, I'm tired of doing this shit with you, bro. How we gonna solve this soul tie shit? Like, I'm tired, bro. Like, you could go your way, I go my way. There's no, let bygones be bygones. Cause I know all this energy wasn't pent up in one lifetime. Hell no. I know we brought some of this shit here. But like I said, these are things that we have to pick up on our spiritual nature. Like, these are things we have to, you know, subconsciously be able to reflect on and understand when we look at our relationships, when we look at certain lessons, habits that we deal with in our life. All right. So for the most part, all right, for the most part, this shit crazy. Motherfucking Libra. When we look at these placements, these are the energies that's going to give you a great indication of what's going on in that natal chart, referring to your past life. So in a totality, when we look at our natal chart, the house, your south node, your north and south node axis, house your sun is in, sign your moon is in, stelliums, houses that's filled up with planets. These things will give us an indication like, okay, I just told my ex I was spiritually tired of her last week. I do got the south node in the 7th house. Okay, I think Boro got a point. Cause I know I'm spiritually tired of this naive. You feel me? So we got to be able to correlate some of these things, and the more we get familiar with your chart and be able to correlate some experiences from your natural energies and the energies of the people you're dealing with. But before that, you know, a lot of spiritual nature comes first before we talk about the zodiac or what sun and moons we're utilizing. So some people have utilized a bunch of different alignments, but had a soul tie connection with somebody through a bunch of lifetimes. But yeah, I was using all type of alignments through them travels, through all them experiences. Y'all feel me? So that's what we dealing with when we looking at past life energies in the natal chart. Alright, these things should help us to be able to start pinpointing certain things, gaining more of an awareness, bringing more of a confirmation to our life about why we experience certain things, why we may have been spiritually tired or perceived certain experiences in our life certain ways. Alright, y'all let me know if y'all learned something from this. Y'all let me know if y'all been picked up on certain correlations with your south node or moon alignments that you have, that you felt like have truly trickled in from past life experiences into today's time. I already know looking in the lens I'm looking at y'all right now, but I done got comfortable looking at this at the screen, so it is what it is, man. That's how we roll in 2021, man. You feel me? Don't set trip on me, man. It's just a lucky leader. I don't want no problems. Y'all know I'm roll by Venus, man. I'm ready to compromise with you before all of that, man. You feel me? I'm an honest guy. So y'all already know what it is, family. Thank you for tuning into another one. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe on all that good stuff. Make sure you check out the Patreon and all that. And until another one, peace.